So last night I had the chance to go see the Until Dawn movie based off of the PlayStation game. Should you go check it out, or maybe you shouldn't? Let's talk about it. Hey Kernel, so last night, like I said, I went to go see Until Dawn. Now, I want to make this crystal clear before I start this review. I have not played Until Dawn. I've seen gameplay of it, I've never played it myself. I know little things about it, but assume going into this review that I almost know nothing about Until Dawn. I am reviewing this as someone as a movie person and not as someone who's played the games, right? So real quick before we kind of dive into the video here, if you're new here, consider hitting that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my other movie reviews. I post them weekly so you can try to stay up to date with all of them, and I'll also probably have a playlist here somewhere. And let's talk about Until Dawn. So this movie kind of starts around a group of friends with their one friend, right, Clover, and she is looking for her missing sister. Her sister's gone missing, and eventually they come across this house, but things are not quite as it seems, because this house is full of monsters who are looking to kill them, and every time they die, when all of them die, this little like timer sand thing, you'll see it in the posters and everything, it will turn and reset until eventually they have died so much that they are quite literally not themselves anymore. So going into the just stuff that I liked about the movie, in the very beginning of the movie, they start introducing all these different monsters every night, right? Like the one's like a slasher kind of clown guy, right? And he's pretty cool. He's like their first villain. I thought he was gonna, just kind of regular guy, right? But then like in the second night, they start seeing like these like a witch like that's like across the street, or like this giant monster that like when these people try to leave in their Jeep, and nope, they're not gonna leave because of that. And it just becomes really neat. Like there's all these different monsters. Now, in the second half of the movie, they kind of like let go of that. Like they all just, I think they're called I forget, like they're like wailing or something. Like they have a name for it, but it's some kind of weird monster, right? And they all kind of look the same. They all kind of look like Vecna from Stranger Things. To me, that's when I was like, really, now we're gonna make them all the same? That felt a little boring to me. But it's funny because there's a moment in the movie where they're like, oh, how long have we been here? And they're like trying to check the names to see how many nights they have of coming back to life again before, they're really lost for good. Well, in the book, it's like 13 names. So I think they're like, oh, well, as long as we don't get to that, then we're fine, right? We're only at 4. And as an audience member, you're like, okay, they're only at 4. But then you find out that like they're forgetting stuff. And the one guy that's with them, he has a phone and he's been recording moments, and the stuff on the phone is infinitely cooler than anything that like comes out. Like there's just one that like really got me. It's like this weird thing, and it was like floating with like a mask. That was probably my favorite like monster, and they barely even showed it. I thought that the stuff on the phone was really cool. Like there was this one worm going inside this girl's cheek. That was really cool. I wish they would have done more stuff like that instead of just like the weird like ghoul looking monsters at the very end. Another thing, the main group of characters, very cliche. I didn't watch this movie for the main group of characters. I was watching it for just like the cool horror plot aspects, right? I was really into like what the plot was doing, and that's my biggest reason. That's probably my biggest like turn down, is that like I went in for the plot, and then like you heard me previously mention, when they started like kind of not having as cool monsters, that was kind of a letdown for me. But I did like how each night was never the same. That's a big thing with like horror movies, that like, oh, it's the same killer every night. Well, I was a little bit more scared, or just a little bit more jumpy, because I never knew it was gonna happen. And that again, that goes back to that point I was saying with that whole concept. When they started bringing out those like ghoul-looking things, again, they have a name for it. I cannot remember for the life of me what it was, but they start coming out every night towards like the ending, right? It's like they're out, and that's what they focus on. But the other monsters were so infinitely, like I'd be fine if they did it for one night, but then they just start like, honing in on that, and it's just like, okay, well, like, now I'm not scared anymore because I know what to expect. And to me, that was where they failed. But again, I did like the twist you heard me mention when they look on that guy's phone and find out that they've already been there for like 12 nights and they only have 1 night left. So that was pretty cool, because at that point we only thought they were there for like 4 nights. And it just turns out they weren't remembering stuff. And I thought that was really cool, because at that point in the movie it was like, okay, I don't know anything. Even though I thought I knew what was going on, I don't know anything. I'm not sure, obviously, how the game goes, right? But at one point in the movie, the main guy that's been watching them the whole game, the guy that was at the gas station, he invites Clover into his office, and like starts talking to her about like what's gonna happen. And to me, the vibe that I got was that he keeps talking about how she's special, right? And how she, she's like a very special person to be able to bring out these certain things in the simulation thing that he's running, right? The way that he's talking to her is almost as if he wants her to like replace him as the guy who's watching everything. And so then this theory came up in my head about, what if, the whole thing is that like, oh, well, by the 13th night you become a monster and then like you just stay here, which is actually what the Clover's sister actually becomes one of those monsters. And it becomes this whole thing, right? Like, it's just like the longer you stay here, the more you become not yourself anymore. And that's totally understandable. I just think it's funny that he, has this whole conversation. So I was like getting to thinking, I was like, well, what if his monster is like on the inside? Like, he's this awful person on the inside, right? And he wants her to be like him. Because there was this whole moment where like she's trying to kill him without him noticing. So like there's like this water dripping, and if you've watched the movie, you'll know that the water like makes you explode. That's just accept. You have to accept it. She like gets a few drops in his coffee and he ends up exploding. I would have loved a little twist where he just ends up coming back just like they have been, and he's like, well, you can't kill me because I'm already a monster like on the inside. I think that would have been such a cool twist and like a testament to like what he wanted from her. But the final thing I'll say is at the very end, once they, end up making their way out and everything, I thought it was very cool how you thought it was over, and then the location, like, changes to, like, a snowy cabin, which, yes, I'm very well aware, is the location of the game. And I thought that was a pretty cool, like, little, hey, to the game. I thought that was pretty cool. I will say, having watched the movie, I definitely want to play the game now and get a better understanding for, like, what they didn't get right in the movie. So I'll try to maybe make an update or a post on this channel once I do that. But yeah, guys, that is my review for Until Dawn. Let me know what you guys thought about the movie. Are you a fan of the game, or did you play the game first and then watch the movie? Or like me, did you watch, have you heard of the game and maybe now you're watching the movie, just because maybe it's a little bit of an easier experience to watch like an hour and maybe almost a 2-hour movie than play a full like 8-hour game. But let me know what you guys thought about the movie. If you are a hardcore fan, or if you're just, a movie fan that knows nothing about it, let me know all that down in the comments below. And I will see you guys in the next video, Kernels. Peace.